Hi everyone, I am Heponwana, and I am going to be showing you Deliver Us the Moon. This is a really cool game. I do want to give you a little bit of a heads up warning at the very beginning that at the end of this run, so about an hour and 18 minutes from now, hour and 17 minutes, there will be a photosensitivity warning. I will let you know when it's coming because I want to make sure all of my speedruns are always fully accessible and welcome to everyone. But we're going to get going. So this game is Deliver Us the Moon. It's a narrative-focused kind of adventure-y game. It's very story-heavy, and we're going to skip as much of that story as possible because we're on a mission to go as fast as possible. So we're going to start this run, and I'll go a little more into what you're seeing and what I'm doing once we get it up and running. So time will begin as soon as I click Start New Game, which will happen in 3, 2, 1, go. So this is a game that takes place in the 2050s. Earth has gone through an ecological issue. We've kind of abused the planet. It is getting really nasty, really dirty, really dusty. And so all of our planet cannot support itself, but we came up with a brilliant idea. What is that idea? The moon. We could generate moon using nuclear fusion, fissions, I'm not sure which one it is, but up on the moon we are using helium-3 to generate power at a big power transmission facility and using a microwave power transmitter to beam it down to the Earth. However, 5 years ago, that power got shut off. And now I can finally move. We're going to have quite a few of these cutscenes where I can't move, and we're just going to try and get through them as quick as possible. So, I need to go to the moon and figure out what happened to power, what happened to people at that power base, what happened to everything. It's a whole lot of confusion. By the way, we need to go into our menu tutorial. We need to make sure our menu works. I think our menu works, but alright, there we go. And so, this is that dust bowl of a world that we live on. One thing I love pointing out about this game, it is beautiful. The visuals on this, it is an indie game, it is a Kickstarter game, and the visuals are some of the best I've ever seen. Quickest way to get down a flight of stairs is take some damage. We'll damage through that. And yes, we know how to sprint. We're already sprinting. We never stop sprinting. Well, maybe at one or two small spots, but mostly we do not stop sprinting. As I play through this game, if you were interested in speedrunning this, because Obscurathon, we're doing the obscure games. We want people to know about these and maybe join us for speedrunning. It's a pretty small community, but it's a very good, positive community. We run this game using LRT, that'd be load removed time. That means anytime you see it saying loading, which it did at the very beginning of the game, we remove that from our run. I turn on my flashlight, you'll see there's a cool little indicator for it on my back. We'll move here to get ready to press this button so we can open this door. But at this point, we are just an unnamed astronaut who is going to ride the final space shuttle. There is not enough resources to ever launch another shuttle after this one, and we need to get up to the moon to find out why that microwave power transmission from the lunar colony went dead. Also, we need to figure out what happened to all the people who were up there. And also, I'm going to jump over to keyboard. I'm primarily a controller player, but on this game, I occasionally need to jump into keyboard and or mouse because it's easier than entering numbers on a controller with a little crosshair icon is a pain, and I'm not up for that. We're going to move these stairs out of our way, but we will see those stairs soon enough because we're going to need them for something. Anytime you see something, consider that foreshadowing. This game has a lot of it. Also, it has a lot of these glowy things. When you see them, those are audio logs. Here's the problem with audio logs. We have to enter our menu to use them, and I don't know about you, I don't feel like going into my menu unless I absolutely have to. So right now, we're trying to go as quick as we can to get our spaceship launched. especially because there is a storm approaching. And if we don't get it launched before that dust storm comes, we are not going to get to the moon, and we are the last shot to find out what happened. So right here, we've got some puzzle solving. We're going to do it the smart way. First, activate this elevator. It takes a little time to show up, and by the time we get back there, the elevator will be there. We're going to climb this ladder. We have 2 of these we need to deactivate. The second one, no matter which one you choose, is going to have a bad ladder. And if that happens, or if you go to it, you'll just fall down. So instead, we're going to ride this elevator down. Remember that little stair cart I moved earlier? We're going to use that instead of the ladder. By the way, these stair carts are very important because we're going to use them to break the game a little bit later on, which is always cool. I am not much of a glitch runner. However, I'm going to recharge my flashlight right there by turning it off. It drains real slow. It recharges very fast, so I will go ahead and recharge when I need to. But I am not much of a runner of glitches, but in this game, I will do a few glitches. Most games that I play, I don't do glitches just because I don't really have the acuity for a lot of glitches that games require. Jumping over things is a lot better than running around them, by the way. We'll go up here. Now that we've deactivated the hydrogen feed to our space shuttle, we could go ahead and queue it up, ready for launch. And we're going to see one of my favorite mechanics of this game. If you ever have a timer that is less than a minute, you are in trouble. If you ever see a timer that is over a minute, you don't need to worry about it. So, right here, we got a timer. It's 1.5 minutes. What does that mean? It means we've got more time than we know what to do with. We're going to get there with a lot of time to spare. So we're just going to run over here and we're going to get this rocket launched. And we're going to have some real cool visuals right here. I love this game. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is, if you have one of the latest video cards on PC, it really pushes the ray tracing. It pushes the technology in so many ways. It is so cool. And so we are going to launch this space shuttle. Right here, we grab this. Like I said, the timer goes away. We had 50 something minutes left. We didn't even burn a whole 40 seconds, so you don't need to worry about it. And now I'm going to swap over to keyboard and mouse for a small bit. I am a fan of accessibility on video games, and I am not a fan of one part of this game. And that part is my little crosshair in the middle of the screen is so hard to see, and my vision, I have an issue with visual contrast, so it makes this part of the game a little extra hard for me. But we're going to just get through this as quick as we can. And if you look on the left, there is a readout of what steps we need to do here. I've done it enough. I pretty much have it memorized. But it's good to know what these steps are. And there we go. This is last we do for a short bit. It's going to take control of our camera a little bit, so it's going to force us to look here. So if you're interested in running this game, we do not have an auto splitter that removes loads automatically on live split. So because of that, we have to manually remove the load times, retime the loads ourselves after we upload the game or upload the run. So one thing I suggest is set up your splits to be at the load screen. So my first split is actually coming up soon. This game is kind of broken up into 5 main load screen chapters. Real quick, here is what I was talking about of the order of steps of how to launch a rocket. But we're going to have our first load screen coming up. We're also going to have something I love, which is a late title card. I love a game with a good late title card because it just gives it that good cinematic feel. And this game with how amazing it looks, it is so cinematic. It is such a fun game to play. If you play primarily controller, like I do, it's a little harder on the speedrun. I am 4th place on the leaderboards. Top 3, you need to use some control or some glitches that are only really available playing keyboard and mouse. But that's all well and good. So we're going to come up at a part where we're going to have to fire our secondary thrusters. To fire our secondaries, we'll shut off our main, we'll throw some switches, we'll throw a switch, we'll throw a switch, and all of that. If you look over here, you'll see what all it is. So right now, we are getting a setup on the story and an unskippable cutscene. We're also going to be in first person for a while longer, which is a little bit tricky. First person, this game, you only control first person when there is 0 gravity, whether it's for yourself or later on you get a robot buddy called an ASE, and that first person control can be a little disorientating versus the rest of the game, but if you play it casually, it is a ton of fun just because it does work out really well. It is a well put together game. I highly recommend it for anyone and everyone to at least give it a shot casually if you like story heavy and especially kind of dystopian near future sci-fi type of stories. But here we go, my favorite thing. I love, absolutely love, a late title card. And that's what we're getting right here. It is just cinematic goodness. I'm a sucker for this type of cinematic offering. And so from this point on, we are done with the Earth. We will never see the Earth again, except maybe as a little marble in the sky. And here we get our first loading screen of the run. Well, second one. We got one at the very beginning, but first one since we got active into this. So right here we see Pearson. Pearson is a space station orbiting the moon. And it has a moon or space elevator. Space elevator, if you don't know those from sci-fi, the whole idea is a big elevator that takes you up to same with a geosynchronous orbit or whatnot, or moon synchronous orbit, however you want to say that. So right here we're just going dock with Pearson. And our goal is we want to figure out, is there anything cool at Pearson? Anything we could figure out about what happened in the moon? But also, we need that moon elevator to get down to the moon. The space shuttle we have is designed to dock with Pearson, not to land on the moon. So, we gotta dock with Pearson. I mean, beggars can't be choosers when you're in a future that you have no resources, no power, no future. We gotta figure out what's going on with the tools we have. And I should add, there is going to be some spoilers for the story of this game. So if you do plan on playing it casually, maybe only half listen what I say, because I am going to tell you why we're doing what we're doing, and that's going to cover spoiler territory. But it won't be the full spoilers of everything that happens in the game. Also, if you do like this game and you think, I would love to play it or speedrun it, there is also a sequel as well, Deliver Us Mars. And now we are first-personing this. And we are going to trigger an airlock. We are going to run out of air. How much time do we have? 3 minutes. 3 minutes. That is frightening, isn't it? No, it's not. Because, like I said, if we ever have more than a minute, we have plenty of time. But we'll grab an oxygen cylinder right here just because it's right here. But we do not need it. We are going to be done with this no oxygen environment in no time. I'm just going to swing my hand. I'm going from controller to mouse. Also a little keyboard in there. Because, you know, idle hands, you don't need those. And the best way not have your hands idle, by the way, that is going to keep this door open so we could grab this one. Best way to keep your hands from being idle, use them on everything all at once. So lots of movement of my hands. There's also movement of all accesses of my character that we need to be mindful of. And here we restore life support. We did not run out of air. We had all the time in the world, like I said. And of course, we need to know some passwords coming up. The next password we need is 2539. The passwords are very easy to find if you do exploring, but we're not exploring, and luckily they don't get shifted every time you play the game. They are set, so 2539 is going to be needed once we go to Libra. Libra, or Libra, whichever way you want to call it, is going to be our next step in pretty much causing a lot of chaos. You'd think we're not here to cause chaos. We aren't, but we are going to cause some. We're going to cause a lot of chaos. So right in here, we're going to do 2539 in a second. We're just going to run up here. And there we go. Of course, it's correct. And we will activate this computer. Activating this computer, and then diagnosing the MPT, contacting that moon base, and that will open this door. And we are going to get a new mechanic. We only get new mechanics a couple times in this run, but we are going to get one right here where I go mouse control every single time. So hand off the controller. We're going to do this mouse style. We're going to get, So if you move this too quick, sometimes the control can get a little bit hyperactive. So be mindful of that. And now we have that laser. And we're going to use this laser very stupidly and dangerously start off. Why not just shoot it in a compressed space like a space station? That was bad move. I mean, seriously. So here, we are going to control this with one hand on the mouse when it's needed and one hand on the controller to control our actual movement. Oh, I missed that one. And you do not need to shoot everything open. You only need enough to get through, so don't waste your time on more than you need. Brief bit of interaction from ground control. Don't get used to it because we are not going to hear from them all that often. And once again, one hand on controller, one hand on the mouse. And our 3-minute timer, we still had 2:05 left on it. Another audio log that we will not listen to. If you're playing casually, please do listen to them. The story in this game is pretty darn cool. I love this game. It is, as a sci-fi fan, this game is delicious with sci-fi story. Then, anything that glows blue, you could actually interact with. You could scan and get like data logs. We are not doing those data logs. And now, you might be wondering, can you die in this game? I mean, it looks like a walking simulator, right? Yes, you can die. These things will kill you if you get hit too many times, so be very mindful of that. I've actually had a run lose 2 whole minutes due to hitting electricity in a room coming up. So we are going to not get hit. We're going to take things a touch slow up here. Marathon safety, because I do not want to lose 2 minutes for all of you. Let's keep this moving nice and smooth. Plus also, I got a PB on this yesterday running this for practice, so I want to keep the good momentum going. So we're just going to pop some of these. We don't need to pop all of them. And that's part of the secret of this game, is don't do more than you need to. just do what you need to and move on. And so we'll put another one of these energy canisters in. This one is more dangerous. It is a room full of shocky things, and these can and will kill you. And so, luckily, once we hit that battery, they're done with being able to kill us. But, bad news, this is what I call the final exam. We've got multiple challenges. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get one extra. I actually died on this about a week ago, and we do not want that. So I'm going to go touch slow for marathon safety. I got turned all around right there. The joy of three-dimensional with full rotation is you could really get turned around on this. But hopefully you are enjoying this run, because this is a really cool game. This is one of those games where it's like, it is such a shame so few people run it. I'm actually planning on learning how to run Deliver Us Mars, because I really love this game. I need to see how the story continues. I think there are rumors of this ending up being a trilogy. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but Deliver Us Mars, once I learn how to run it, it'll be another one I'll submit to Obscurathon, because it's one with, as last I saw, only 2 runners. So, of course, I definitely want to be showing that one off to all of you once I start doing it, because this game series is so good. Like, it is so good. And so we'll rotate right here because we're going back to Libra. You might remember Libra, we were just there. And we're going to operate a computer. And remember how I said we're going to get into some trouble and cause some mischief? We don't mean to, but we do it. We're about to do it. This is the mischief time. And now we're about to cause problems. And cutscene, so hydrate. Enjoy a nice seltzer, soda, whatever is your poison. For me, it is black cherry seltzer. We have a QTE coming up. Fun fact, you could, if you know the button, press it ahead of time. It's X. If you keep mashing X ahead of time, you'll be fine. Like, look at this. The game's nice and friendly about that. So here comes the X, and there we go. We're grabbed. We're good. And now we need to get back to where we came from, because we might have caused problems. That timer is 12 seconds. Remember what I said about if it is a minute or more, you're fine? Well, we need to grab all of these oxygen, because we are less than a minute, and we're going to barely get through this. Add a little anxiety, a little stress, a little high drama. I love how this game can do that so well. Also, a fun other secret is if you ever see multiple air cylinders at one place and you are under a strict timer, you are not going to get those. They are a trick. They are fake. And you might be thinking, well, I've only seen one at a time so far. What is Heponwana even talking about? Well, look right there. There's 4 of those. 4 of them. That's going to be great. No, instead, we're going to be introduced to our friend, the oxygen crate. We pop this open. And get rolling as quick as we can. I have never tried pushing, avoiding oxygen as much as you might be able to here. There's a chance, if you go the red, that red area to the right is where we want to go. I believe that'd be called like 1 o'clock. We want to go there, but I'm not sure if we could quite make it there without grabbing this oxygen, so I always grab it. I am not sure if there is a chance for time savings or not. But now we go to that red area, you will find one more oxygen cylinder in there, and we're about to be done with first person. I am not a fan of the first person. It's fun, but third person is so much better in this game. It is so much more fun. So we're just gonna grab this cylinder of air. We're gonna pop these open. We're going to get pulled in, and we just need to hit that red button and we are done with Pearson. We are going to take the elevator down. If you're a fan of Tiny Toon Adventures from way back in time, this always makes me think of like Plucky Duck with elevator go down the hole. And that's what we have right here. We are going down to the moon. So finally, we're at the moon. 24 minutes in and we're going to the moon. I'd call that pretty good. Getting to the moon in 24 minutes? Why doesn't NASA do that? Like, how slow can you be? All right, so another loading screen right there. We are doing really good on this run. My personal best for RTA is like a minute 17 and change. LRT, it'd be a minute 16 and change. So we're doing real good right now. We're on a good pace, but you never know when this game can throw some problems at you. In particular, the last area of this game is where runs go to die. Hopefully not tonight. Tonight is all about runs doing good. I mean, we've had some great runs earlier today, had some great runs yesterday as well, and we'll have more good runs coming up tomorrow because this event is going, hey, I don't know why, there we go. So sometimes it does not want to interact with objects, so you've got to kind of force it. We're just going to jump over that instead of going around. Another one of those audio logs, we're not going to listen to the audio logs, except for one. There is one that'll play automatically, and that one, of course we'll listen to it. I mean, we don't have a choice. And we're actually going to be in a cutscene during it. Speaking of a cutscene, here we get a new thing, which is holographic playback of security footage. We will be able to watch these type of things whenever we want. When we come across them, we don't want. It's a time loss. But this one we have to watch because if you look, the door has closed. There are no exits from here. And we cannot leave until we get this little droid. This ASE is what they call it. The cool thing about the ASE, from the main menu, you could select 3 colors for your ASE. What is the body color? And for that one, it's either black or white. What is this highlight color? See that little bit of pink? And what is the lens color, the light color? And of course, I went with trans pride colors because trans rights are human rights. And I am always happy to shout that to whoever will listen because I have a lot of wonderful, amazing trans friends, and the trans community is put under way too much bigotry and hatred. So I just want to say that real quick. So of course, my ASE, all about the pink, blue, and white. So now we can finally pick up the ASE and we're going to get running. Well, running as fast as we can while carrying something. It doesn't really let you run that fast while you're carrying this, but we're not going to carry it long. We're going to get repaired and we're going to have a friend after that because this mission's kind of lonely. I think of this game in a lot of ways like Stray. If you know Stray, the post-apocalyptic kitty game, which is another one I run. Definitely not an obscure game because Stray is kind of ran by way too many people. But this one, a lot like it, where it's a floating robot and some sort of mammalian explorer. We're going to open that. Why did we open that? I just don't want to take care of it later, so we're doing it now. We picked up some parts. We need 3 parts to repair our buddy. This part is a little tricky for me because I cannot see that crosshair like at all. My eyes have contrast issues, and it's my only complaint about this game is those contrast issues really don't work good for me. So now we're going to go here. try and reboot the ASE. Unfortunately, the thrusters are broken. So we are going to go ahead, wait right here so we could interact, and now run through this door while that thing we did to it is rotating it around, opening it up to work on the thruster. By rotating and walking away, we could just dive right into it. And we have this very simple rudimentary puzzle that I did that piece wrong. It's nothing too complex, but it's kind of fun. If you like puzzle solving, you know, kind of putting things together. And watch as everything goes bzzzt. Because, of course, everything goes bzzzt. That's how things go with our adventure. We have things just kind of going bzzzt. But we now have a buddy. And you might think, yeah, is it really a buddy though? You are a human. You have emotions. You have feelings. This guy right here, it's just a floating drone. No, it shows playfulness and it's going to show sympathy. Like, I love this little guy. I love the ASE. Look at this. It's adorable. And guess what? You can control it. Remember this thing we opened earlier? Guess what? We're going to go in it. Because we blew a fuse when we were getting our ASE powered up. I got turned around right there. This can be really easy to get turned around in because it is very tight and very one color. So we're going to activate that. Also, if you play keyboard and mouse, there is a glitch you could do with your ASE called mailboxing, where you could clip it through locked doorways and save yourself the time of going through like those conduits like I did. I do not do keyboard and mouse, so unfortunately we do not see that. So right here, you'll notice I went into my menu and then I left. What I did was, if you go into your menu and hit a certain button, you could summon your ASE. So instead of waiting for him to get back to me, he just teleported right there. And that's because sometimes the AI can get a little lost. And if the AI gets lost, you're going to have a problem of your ASE might be behind a locked door that you have to go way back to unlock. So you have essentially a whistle for it. Whoa. So we want to open vehicle bay doors. Unfortunately, the vehicle doors require 2 of these batteries to power, that one and that one. So we're going to need to get batteries from somewhere else. So we're going to go to the crew quarters. And by the way, there was a very famous space station that was founded in 2032. That's important for a reason. Because a good safe password is never using a date that everyone would know. 2032. There are posters that say 2032 all around here. Okay, I'm going to have to stop right here. Normally, I do not have to take a pause. If that guy shoots me twice, I die. And somehow I fell slightly off his regular cycle. Normally, I get through getting shot once right at the very end, right around here. So somebody hooked up a battery to that ASE to sabotage other people. And that's actually a very important thing for the plot of this game. Because there were 2 people who worked on Pearson, that space elevator station. There was Rolf and Sarah. Rolf and Sarah came down to Copernicus, to this station, when power went out to find out what happened. And what we saw earlier in that cutscene where we got our ASE buddy, there was essentially a mutiny. And so Rolf and Sarah on Pearson had no idea what was going on. By the way, this game is also a driving game. Isn't that kind of cool? So Rolf and Sarah had no idea what was going on. You need to line up your wheels here to open the doors. That's what those lights are. So Rolf and Sarah came down to Copernicus, figure out what is going on, and they found no people, no clues, but Sarah happened to come across that rogue ASE. It shot her, knocked her out. Rolf went down to the Earth using the only escape shuttle and had to leave Sarah behind because Rolf had no idea what happened to Sarah. She did not show up and she did not communicate any because she was knocked out by that rogue ASE. And so we are soon going to see that what happened with Sarah is important for us because we're going to be following in her footsteps because she tried solving the mystery. Thing at Copernicus, which was, think of it as the headquarters of the lunar operations. And instead, we're going to go Tombaugh. Tombaugh is where the reactor was, so where the power was made. So we're going to head to Tombaugh. Once again, I have 3 minutes on this timer, so we do not need to worry one bit, because 3 minutes, that's more time than anyone needs. Look at this. Might as well take our space helmets off, just have like a little picnic out here. We've got all the time in the world. The only challenge here is getting your camera lined up good to climb those because you need our little astronaut buddy to look at the ladder correctly, and we need the camera to look at the ladder correctly. If you don't have both of those happening at once and now the timer's done, you won't interact with it. It's one of the challenges on this game. It's interesting, it's a little wonky how that feels, but it's not too bad. So we'll head left, just start mashing the X button now. As soon as it gets there, look at that, there it goes. We're good. You don't need to worry about hitting a button at a bad time, except if you're trying to jump through something difficult or run through when an ASC is shooting at you and you fall off cycle, and if a second shot hits you, you die. And the game is super nice. Look at that. It took us back to the exit. How many games does that? This game is one of the best ever. Also, driving on the moon, it might just be very monochrome because, I mean, that's what the moon is. The moon is very monochrome. But this is so gorgeous of an environment. I don't have my graphics turned all the way up because turning them all the way up kills a stream really bad. This game can be a resource hog, and trying to stream it, even with the best of computers, it gets a little dicey. But even with things turned quite a bit down, this game is gorgeous. Like, I just love how it looks. We want to approach this as best we can to get all the wheels on, get out before it opens, because it'll open for us right now, and that way we're not waiting an extra second or so. We're going to go in here, and hey, I don't normally have that. Our ASE buddy followed me in. Normally I have to use the ASE whistle command and be like, come to me. Instead, he followed me for once, because I used to have the issue of he wouldn't get through the airlock before I hit the button, and that's no good. Speaking of no good, these right here, this tower's a little more challenging because, oh, almost overshot that. There are plasma exhaust vents. They can cook you, and we don't want to be cooked. I'm kidding. They can't cook you. See, it is so cute. This time we'll go to the right, a little bit up, just like last time. but not as up, and very much to the right. And we're just going to swing this around to Copernicus, and there we go. I honestly just love how this game looks. It is, as somebody who, as a little kid, I was such a space nerd. Like, I was all about telescopes, looking at the stars. I still am. I love space. I love science fiction, but more than science fiction, I am such a fan of space itself because there is so much beauty looking up into the night sky, and that makes this game, like, for me, just perfection. So a little backup, and hey, Earth is seeing that we're doing some good work.
Just now, we detected activity in the MPT network. We haven't seen that in years. It seems to have been a local power transmission.
Yep, we gotta get to Tombow. We gotta figure out what's going on for real. You'll notice I'm not aiming at the target. That's because we need to come in from a little bit of an angle, because dead forward to the target is crashing into a wall. So we're gonna swing around like this and hopefully hit these wheel wells really good. It's very frustrating when you, oh, come there. When you miss those wheel wells and you had to do a bunch of back up, forward, back up, forward, back up, forward, it becomes kind of frustrating. We will have another scene with this lunar rover coming up. Do a quick little turn like that so we don't have to run all the way around the vehicle to get back in here. Another glitch that you could do if you're playing keyboard and mouse that doesn't work with controller is if you pause and go into your menu, while you're paused and in the menu, your mouse can interact with anything in the environment. And when I say anything, I mean if we have this computer screen visible, but way in the foreground, like when we first ran in from the vehicle bay, we can actually interact with that computer from the pause screen if we click on the right spots. It's very much a keyboard and mouse type of thing. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm a controller player because I do have some visual and coordination issues that make it where, well, I am just not wired the same as everyone else. So I'm happy to play it with a controller and still feel very fast and good. We are about to go to one more place before we get our next loading screen, which essentially means our next chapter. Normally, when you interact with this monorail, it shows you this screen. You're looking straight up. Thank you. Always appreciate any beard love. But normally you're looking straight up, and it's so confusing when you first start in this because you're like, what am I looking at when it should be looking like this? This is the one audio log we will actually get and listen to. And so this is all about Sarah, who came from Pearson. She's the one who was left behind, and she is all about trying to track down what happened. But she did it 5 years in the past. Meanwhile, what happened to Rolf, we don't know. But Rolf was her partner in crime. It wasn't really crime, but, you know. So, we're about to get to this little space here. It's going to block us from continuing. This should be a 25 to 40-ish minute sidetrack if you're playing casually. We are not playing this casually. So instead of 25 to 45-ish minutes, I'm aiming for about a minute and change. So get ready for some speed right here. So we're going to remember 1881. It won't let us open the monorail doors. That just saved us like 20 minutes right there. Okay, we're opening maintenance. We'll stand right here. Get going our little buddy. And we're just going to go right through here. And we're going to hit this one. 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 Okay, we're done. Let's head out. And that's it. What did I do there? Who cares? I opened these doors. That's what I did. Actually, my little buddy opened this door. They are the cutest and the best. And so, we're on our way. To Tombow, we are headed. There are no other stops before Tombow. That is all there is to it. And we're going to have a loading screen which signifies new chapter. We have completed this chapter and we're moving on. However, if there was an issue with getting to Tombow and we had to divert on different rail tracks, then maybe we're not going Tombow. Actually, I should say we're not going to Tombow. We're going divert. So we have a quick time event. Let's just start holding or smashing the left trigger. Look at this, left trigger. Once screen shows saying red, you'll know it's coming up. So there's some red. So we just keep hitting that left trigger, and there we go. I mean, hit the right trigger. So we just keep hitting that over and over. As long as you know what's coming up, you could just keep mashing it. Also, there is a second category for this game. So we're doing any % full game, which essentially means start hitting that X button. That's not what it means. It means we want to see credits. That's what we are looking for. But there's another category called any % Fortuna. This game was originally a Kickstarter, and when the Kickstarter first came out, the game ended earlier than the full release. And so the ending we're about to get, or this area we're about to enter, when you finish it, is the other category, any % Fortuna. But we are not doing any % Fortuna. Also, we have more than 3 minutes on our timer, so we are just going to zip through this. If you move your mouse too quick while you're shooting, you will cause your shooting to go a little wonky. So you have to be kind of delicate with your speed on it. But in terms of any % Fortuna, we are about at the end. And we went quick enough that we glitched this. That battery should have been in there full on, not laying sideways. But it was laying sideways because we went way too quick. We're going to put this in here. We're going to run outside. We're going to tell our buddy to close the door behind us because those would be electrified. And now those are electrified, but we could get in through here. And once again, 3-minute timer. We got through it with 1 minute used, not even that. So we're going to hit a button over here. And we're going to try and diagnose the MPT network from here. It's not going to work. Once again, we're going to need to do some power realignment, but this time has a little bit of a twist to it. And we're just going to go out to our vehicle bay. You might be thinking, isn't this so much of the same of what we just did at the last area? It's similar, but it's different. And it adds a little more excitement. I kind of like this. You'll see there's some oxygen in the upper left. That orange thing, about 1 o'clock on the screen. That, if you interact with it, you could watch a playback of what all happened here. But we don't have time to see what happened. We just have time to go fast. And that's what we're going to do. That's why we're getting into our fun vehicle again, so we could just put the pedal to the metal and just go. You'll notice one is red. That red one, you'll also notice, is kind of leany. That's probably not good. So we'll go this blue one. Luckily, that leany one, we're not going there. Obviously, it's dangerous, so good thing we're not going there. That's called foreshadowing. If you don't know what foreshadowing is, we're going there. And it'll be dangerous. But for right now, we're just going to jump out right here. Run around. Hit the wrong button. I got too excited. Too excited for my own good. And then our buddy, once again, doing the good work that our buddy does. And up we go. Very similar before, a little more dangerous though once we get outside. You're going to see it very soon. And of course 3 minutes, so that's more time than you will ever need. And jump over railings, because railings are suggestions, not rules. I believe you move a touch faster if you jump on stairs. That's why I keep doing that. And up we go. So, I said more dangerous. Seems pretty simple so far. Oh, a lot of plasma vents. A lot of plasma vents. We're just going to run right into those. Because I heard it's good for getting a tan, and our astronaut buddy is just looking to have that right beach bod, with the whole being out in the vacuum of space and wearing a complete spacesuit. You gotta get a good tan, look real good. Don't do that. Don't tan yourself off of plasma vents. And once more, we're going to bring this around, and we're just going to aim it at the base right here, and uh-oh, out of range. Remember that foreshadowing? Uh-oh. I think we're going to the Leaning Tower. That's not good. Luckily, it's not like shooting some power at it is going to cause anything to get unsettled and make it even more unstable. Oh. That's more unstable, isn't it? So we have 3 minutes, but you might notice, why is our timer still going? We're in our vehicle. It no longer says no oxygen. That's because the tower has a 3-minute timer. Yeah, we gotta move fast. Also, remember that dead battery we pulled out when we first rolled into this area? If you brought it with us, you could get an achievement that's kind of harkening back to the companion cube, if you know that one, from Portal. Oh, there we go. Hop out. We have 3 minutes of oxygen, but not nearly that amount of time. This place is not in good shape, and we're just gonna keep moving. Think all the sparks here, sign of things not being in their best state. This is also an easy area to die. If you miss a jump, you can die. If you get hit by cables, you can die. These jumps come out of nowhere if you're speedrunning and going very fast, so be very mindful of those jumps, because you do not want to die here. Also, I mentioned earlier, when we speedrun this for SRC, speedrun.com leaderboards, we use LRT, load remove time. And I said we don't have an auto splitter that can automatically remove the loads for this game. I don't know how to code, so I always count on the genius of others for making those. Deliver Us Mars, by the way, does have that. This game, though, doesn't, so something very important to know is every time you die, that's another load you need to remove the time of. So it's an encouragement not to die. Otherwise, you've got to remember where it was and search through your VOD to find that death, remove the loading time, and figure out what your final time was. And that's a lot of work. I don't like work. I like play. That's why I like doing the speedrun. I don't like the work part of it. And, speaking of things I don't like, I also don't like this. That's not good. Also, I was in that tower. That's not good either. Hopefully I'm okay. Everything's... Oh. That's really not good. By the way, I love the ASC right here, because ASC is all about like, hey man, are you okay? I'm worried about you. Oh, are you getting up? Oh, yay. Look at that, the ASC is all like, oh, I'm so happy you're healthy. Of course, we have no oxygen. So once again, less than a minute of time, you are in trouble. And unfortunately, this is the last oxygen canister. I'm not sure if we could get there in 40 seconds. I would really love for somebody to bring me oxygen right now. Please. Please bring me some. Oh, don't bring me that. Oh. Okay, actually do bring me that. Thank you. All right, let's get going. And we are just going to barely get in by the skin of our teeth. There is one 3-minute timer in the game that we will actually cut it very close. Like maybe about 10 seconds if everything goes right, or we might have to actually grab oxygen on the way. And that's coming up in next chapter, which is the last chapter, which is pretty much the longest chapter, or tied for the longest. And it's coming up real soon. If we were doing the any percent Fortuna, this would be time right here. So any percent Fortuna, it ends right here, and you're left on a cliffhanger. You pretty much get to see what happened with Sarah right here. Sarah realized everyone evacuated. Everyone on the moon left. And they didn't go back to Earth. And they took all of the power with them. So I mentioned before, the power is made by helium-3 or hydrogen-3, one of those. I'm not a nuclear scientist. Actually, I kind of am, but I am not on that side of things. I know more about medical radiation than about power generation radiation. But they took all of the isotopes that would generate the power, and they left for somewhere else. Foreshadowing. There's a sequel called Deliver Us Mars. But they took all the power, and at this point, she realized that there is a little bit of power left at Tombo. And if she gets back to Tombo, to the reactor, she could send power back to Earth. But we're not sure what happened to her. And normally this is right where it ends in the original release, with a spoiler on Who Are You? If you have subtitles on,
I'll find you.
Guess what? You are Rolf. You would find this out later on in the next chapter. You would find out that you're Rolf. But here, you find out because of the subtitles, you're Rolf. You're Sarah's missing partner in crime. I know, it's not crime, but I like saying partner in crime. It sounds more fun. And now we're off to Tombo, which... Take everything story-wise that we have seen so far. Take everything action-wise that we have seen so far. And we are going to bump all of those up for this final chapter. The final chapter is going to be about 20 minutes. Which is about the size of the chapter of Copernicus. But it's going to be just non-stop. Like, things are going to be happening, and this is where the game really pushes. This is where runs go to die. And like I said, we will see the Earth as a little marble in the sky. It's not the blue marble because it is covered with dust storms. It's a sad marble. And here's our final loading screen. Yeah, so this is the first game in the series. Deliver Us Mars, second game. It was actually free on Epic Games Store last year. Part of the reason I really want to play it is I got it for free. But rumors are there's supposed to be a third one. I'm not sure if those rumors are real or if they're just things I made up in my mind. Who knows?
Whether it's the reactor or the MPT transmitter itself, we can't tell.
But this game is...
Some good news down here.
This game is so good, and I figure
I wish I could help you.
if Deliver Us Mars is even half as good, I'll just say playing through this casually, the story had me hooked every second of the way. And speedrunning it, there are so many parts of this that are not my usual speedrun type of game. I am a precision platformer speedrunner. I do games like Love, Celeste, Electhead. Precision and puzzle platformers are what I do. But this game just drew me in because it is such a great speed game and such a great casual game. I know we're first person. I said we're not going to be first person anymore except for when we're playing as the ASE. It's only for like a couple seconds. We're about to get through this first person part in a hurry because I don't like first person. Alright, here we go. There is a out of bounds glitch if you know what you're doing right there. I can never get it to work. It just does not like me. So instead, we'll just keep running. Once again, we have 3 minutes, which means we have all the time in the world. I mean, we cannot have any additional time help us, because look at this, so much time. Also, coming up here, that refills your oxygen. Guess what? We're not refilling our oxygen. Also, when you're making these jumps, don't look at your feet, because you will feel like you can't make some of these jumps because you will jump when your feet are not on the ground, and it will kind of mess with your mind, at least if you're like me. So here we're going to have like a minute to spare. Just go through this as quick as possible. Just keep running. Do a little jump over this railing, because that railing is merely a suggestion. And now we're at Tombo. Tombo is the land that is filled with Roombas and ASEs, both live and dead, for better and for worse. Also, there's security here. To get through the security, we're sending our ASE through the baggage claim to overwrite security. Otherwise, you run through that and security gates close and you don't get through. And guess what? We want to get through. Look at those Roombas. Little Roombas keeping place clean. Even 5 years later, doing their job. You gotta love them. Dedicated. And we're just going to keep running. You'll notice this area is a lot more frantic and quick. Also, we can destroy things. If you see a wall looking like that, it means you could break it with one of these. And so, we are about to enter what I call Metal Gear ASE. We have a stealth section in this game. Ooh, got further than I normally get running through there. So we have a security breach. And that's going to cause this room filled with ASEs that are all turbocharged to shoot at you. Tell me you're not feeling some Metal Gear Solid stealth action vibes right here. Also, this is a room where you can die. Oh, and look, another wall way up high that we could destroy. You might have saw there's a catwalk above it. We need to get something on that catwalk, drop the catwalk, and slam it through there. That's what we need to do. That's not what we're going to do. Foreshadowing. Just keep moving as quick as we can, because I don't want to be killed. We normally get shot once there. I am surprised we didn't. And we get that saving thing, which means we will not get shot. And we are good. Had an itch on my face right there. All right. Open. Another audio log we will not listen to. I hate that we have to open this. Like, why can't we crawl under it? It's such a little waste of time. And now we will grab this battery pack. It's going to shut down this maintenance side. And we're going to put it into the sleep quarters and open that up. Unfortunately, all the doors are now closed, so we can't just run over to that sleep quarters. We gotta go back to that ASE, Metal Gear ASE room. And we are gonna do a little bit of glitching, wait for him. A little bit of glitching. That is entirely how you're meant to do that, absolutely. And our final password we need to know is 8662. We would learn that in here, but oh, ASE, you were behind me a little bit. And we are going to do my favorite glitch of this game. Hopefully first try, but it can take a couple tries depending on how much it wants to work for me. So 8662, we are going, oh, grab that. Come on, Rolf. We are going to try to glitch this game in some very glitchy ways. So, get ready for it. Come on. There we go. So, you're probably thinking, wait, what just happened there? Oh, get it. So what just happened there? Because that made no sense. Also, the game does stutter here because the graphics are too powerful for the game, and it's not graphic settings are too much for my computer. It just stutters a bit right here. It's the nature of this game. So what happened was I was standing on that portable staircase. And by standing on that staircase, but moving the camera, remember I said interacting things is a combination of where you are looking, but where the camera is looking. And because of that, it wanted to grab the ladder or stairs and move it. But here's the challenge. By moving those stairs while I was on them was impossible. So it put me on the ground so I could push the stairs. But because I was on the stairs, going onto the ground, the stairs were already there, and to prevent two objects from existing in the same geometry, it decided to just pretty much fling those stairs way out of the world. And because of that, we were able to aim that fling to hit that up above broken wall, and then we were able to go through it. Normally you have to push them through the maintenance quarters to an elevator, up the elevator, across a catwalk, to the end of the catwalk. You cut some wires supporting it at the very end, and the stairs slide down and smash into it. And if that sounds like a lot, it is, and it's awesome. I don't do many glitches in this game. I only do like 3 or 4, but that is like my favorite. Because it saves you like 2 minutes, and it is amazing. So here, we need power to get this room moving. Our goal right now, by the way, is we want to find one of these helium-3 canisters that's blue. Blue means it has helium-3, red means it's depleted. We're going to put this in here, and now this room's going to be electrified. You know, the floor is lava? Well, here, the water is electric. So we don't want to get hit by it. If we turn this on, it's going to restore power to that door down there, and we'll be good to go. It also makes those things in the background. When the blue part is in the water, it is dangerous. When it is out of the water, it is safe. So now we could push this over here because we need it to get out of the water. And there we go. We did not get zapped. All is good. I sometimes die there. We're going to see another glitch coming up. It's kind of 2 glitches in one. Also playing casually, most important cutscene in the game right there. But we're not doing that. So we have these switches. To open them, I should have called my ASE, saved a little bit of time, like a couple seconds. To open them, we need to stand on them, or we need a battery. These things are heavy, but this is a live battery, which is useful. We're not going to use the live battery on anything. Instead, if you try standing on one of these batteries, you will slide off. The game will not allow you to stand on it, but we need to get up here. We also need something so we could get up here, but... So, because I could not slide off of that, because there was Hey, start shooting. I don't know why you weren't shooting there, Rolf. So we needed something to stand up there. Because I couldn't slide off of it, there's a wall blocking me, it had to give me control to jump. And by doing that, I could jump up here without needing a big cart of helium. Normally, this cart right here, this blue cart that's coming down, which is the helium we need. It is a full helium. It could repower the reactor. Normally, we need that. But we cheated, and because it has to be there in the cutscene, it appears because we caused the cutscene. So in other words, we now have the helium we need, we're about to start the reactor, and we're at the end game right here. We've got, not quite 10 minutes left. Hopefully, not quite 10 minutes. We're going to do a 1 out of bounds glitch coming up, then I'm glitched out. I only have so many glitches in me. This light from the reactor is bad news. It will hurt us. But we'll do a little bit of out of bounds. You run here until you can't run. You stop, you shimmy. Stop running and shimmy, and you could just run around it. And that saves us running all the way around that bottom layer. And now this is going to go boom. And we could take one boom. If you run a perfect line, you could get through this with each boom, every other boom being you behind one of these pillars for safety. I can never get that line to quite work. So I will take one boom, dodge one, take one, dodge one, and then here we're done with it, so we just gotta get through here. Poor Rolf is being beaten up badly. We'll take this elevator. Everything's going boom. There's no way something can go wrong with this elevator right now. But, actually, I have a bad feeling about this elevator. And yes, the game did freeze for a second there. Like I said, there's a lot going on, and this game is indie, which is you know what, forgive it if there's a few little, hiccups. This game is doing so much. It is amazing. And now, 3 minutes. If we do this perfect, that thing will kill us if it hits us. If we do this perfect, we will get through barely. Only barely. Okay, I'm going to wait for this one. And then we run over to this one. And then we run over to this one, and we're going to need to do some fancy shooting. I don't know how I didn't get hit there. I'm not going to complain. I should have been hit. Also, I need to stop running into things like that. And now we're going to play jump rope with this thing. One hit and you do die. Our time is so close on this because I did get a little bit of hitchiness on things. So we are going to just hope beyond hope that we make this in time. I could stop for air right here, but I really want to show you how cool it is when you make this perfectly. So we are going to make this. We need to wait for those to come back out. There we go. And we are just barely going to make this. Like I said, 3 minutes is always more than enough. Also, photosensitivity warning. If you have photosensitivity issues, look away from here on out. I'll tell you when you can look back. But there are a lot of sparks, a lot of flashes, a lot of bright flashing lights, and it does get worse as we go along. And I'll tell you what we're seeing here. So, in case you can't watch it because you are concerned about photosensitivity warnings, essentially, Rolf tried doing something, computer went boom. Rolf is now hurt. Our ASC is concerned. I love our ASC. such a great ASE. Rolf is hurt. He's holding his side, but we now need to align the tower. So remember, this is all about getting the MPT tower aligned with Earth. We need power back to Earth. I believe it's technically to Pearson, and then from Pearson it goes back to Earth. But we need to get this MPT aligned, whatever way it is. We have a 2-minute and 17-second timer for this area, and we're going to go as quick as we can. But it is, Rolf cannot run. So at this point, we need to manually align the tower. But Rolf is passing out during it, and as he passes out, you stop moving the alignment, and you might start moving it in the wrong direction once you are in the proper alignment, and you need to keep it there long enough to fill up this meter. So this is going to be some bad news for Rolf right here. The meter is filling up right now. Oh, you could see it filling up. It's almost halfway. It is. Oh, come on, Rolf. Stick with us right here. Stick with us. Stick with us. Come on, Rolf. No, you got this. Oh, you got this, Rolf. You got this. And you only have a little time left. Oh, and here you can't refill or anything. Oh, Rolf, you're almost there. This is one of the worst ones I've had of this. And there we go. We got through it. We're going to have more bright, flashy lights. Some of the worst to come. So keep looking away if you are photosensitive. We're also going to have the coolest thing in this entire game from a speedrun perspective. We're going to have a skippable cutscene. So very bad lights right here. Incredibly bad. And then we're going to have the only skippable cutscene in the game right here. Hold B to skip. A little bit more flashing lights.
I can't believe this. We're receiving
And we are almost at time. We've got like a minute or so left. All we need now is find out what happened to Sarah. And if you've been watching cutscenes and not speedrunning, you'll know this ties into Sarah. I'm not going to say what it is, though. Because if you are planning to play this game, speedrun or casual, you're going to go through it casually once, find out what happened. It's real good. But time is going to come up as soon as we get through. This is the living room. There's a bedroom and then a cryostasis room. In the cryostasis room, we hit a button, cutscenes play, and when we hit that button, it is time. So get ready. And this has a chance of being a PB for me after I just got a PB yesterday, which is bonkers. So time is coming up in about 5. Oh, wait, we're blacking out. Okay, in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. And this might be a PB for me because I believe my previous RTA PB was cool, like a PB during it. But this is Deliver Us the Moon. It is a really cool game. Not nearly enough people run it. There's only like a handful of people running it, which is so unfortunate because it looks great, it plays great, it offers so much story, it really just, it does so much right. And also you can make your ASE have pride colors. You know, trans pride, trans rights are human rights. So yeah, thanks for having me. At this point, it is just credits rolling. However, I will point out one fun fact about this game. It used to be time wasn't the last button input. But it wasn't until a little after this, Rolf, when his hand hits the ground, which was always so weird of an ending point, but it also kind of put a big punctuation of, yeah, and it would have been time. Because there goes Rolf. But yeah, hopefully next Obscurathon, I'm hoping to show you Deliver Us Mars. And hopefully in the future, there's going to be a Deliver Us final part. And I want to show that one too, because this game is great. The developers are great. It's a small little indie team. So yeah, thank you so much for letting me show you this game. At this point, it's just credits, so if you want to go ahead and roll me out, I'll just say one thing I say, everyone, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. You can't do one without the other. And nothing but love, because this world just needs more love in it, so be a force of love, be a force of good, and, you know, be a force of positivity out there. So at this point, just going to let credits roll, and whenever they want to fade me out, fade me out.